All right, hello, wine drinking people. Today is Saturday, the 3rd of November, and man, we have got an incredible month of wine drinking events for you, our wine drinking people. And you know what November means, man? The holidays are here, and the holidays mean bubbly. That's right, folks. We do 2 big sparkling wine tastings, champagne tastings every year. One of them before Thanksgiving, one of them before Valentine's. For some reason, there are a lot of people out there that don't drink sparkling wine other than to celebrate something. And to me, every day above ground is reason for celebration. And you know, with sparkling wine, the important thing is the method of production. They do make great sparkling wines all over the world today. In Spain, they call them cava. In California, we call them California champagne. Oh, well, Corbel does. We won't be serving anything of that nature here, but you know, we have the big guns in this country, so we are still allowed to use names that are sacred in other parts of the world. And you will still find champagne on a few bottles of California Bubbly, but most of the better producers call it California Sparkling Wine, Method Champenoise. And that is the important thing. The little bubbles that are in this bottle actually form in this bottle. So the wines, well, in Champagne, which is a very northern region in France, which has inclement weather, they only get about 3 to 5 great vintages every decade in Champagne. So the process by which they make these sparkling wines up there took a couple hundred years to perfect. And that's why most champagnes don't have a vintage on them. 70 to 80% of the juice in that bottle is from one vintage, and usually they're kept for 3 years. So a lot of the stuff coming into the market now is 08, coming into 09 vintage stuff. It takes a long time to make a high-quality sparkling wine. And after they make the base wines, which are made from Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, the same 2 grapes they use in Burgundy, which the soils are similar in Champagne to what they have in Burgundy. They have this outcropping of limestone just like they do in Burgundy and Champagne. And then Pinot Meunier, a 3rd red grape, is added to the mix here. And like I said, they make their base wines after the harvest in a great vintage. They'll make a fair amount of vintage champagne, which does have the vintage date on it, like this Laurent Perrier wine, which the 2002 vintage, absolutely fantastic in Champagne. Usually when they put a vintage on it is great, but obviously not all vintages are created equal. Some of the great vintages in the last 20 years, 1990, 1996, 1998 for Chardonnay, 2002, and it looks like 2007 going to be another outstanding vintage in Champagne. All right, well, as I mentioned before, they make the base wines, they blend them together, different varietals, and then even different vintages. They have what's called reserve wines, which are better wines they keep back to bulk up or to make the wines better in an off vintage. And then after they've made their cuvee, their blend, they put them in the bottle with the yeast and sugar, and the sparkling wine is formed. So they keep these in these, well, they used to call them, you keep them in riddling racks, but today they have these huge gyro plates that the Spanish people have invented in the Penedès region, and they shake that sediment down to the bottom so it comes and condenses down into the cork area. And after 15 months by law in Champagne to make a non-vintage Brut, they flip these upside down in a freezing cold ice bath, and they take out the sediment part because we don't like to see that unsightly stuff floating around in the bottle. And then they add what is called the dosage to the champagne then. And that's what creates the style of champagne. You have Brut, which 90% of the champagnes or more on the market are Brut, which is from 3 to 3.5 residual sugar. And then you have Extra Brut, which is actually sweeter than that. The Brut Nature, which is becoming popular, has no dosage at all. And in Champagne, this doesn't really work for my taste a lot of times because it's so far north. The wines are so high in acid, you need that sugar to balance them out, especially because they pick the grapes early. The acidity is one of the things that is essential for aging wine. And for sparkling wine, it sees 3 years usually before it ever sees the consumer. So we want to have a bright and fresh wine. And the sugar levels in these wines have been going down over the years because our tastes have been getting more toward dry wines. But for me still, I like champagnes in the Brut range that have some of that residual sugar added to them. Well, we have got an incredible selection, over 50 sparkling wines and champagnes on the table this evening, and some wonderful little treats to go along with them. Check it out on our website, our Sparkling Wine Champagne Tasting 2012. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.